All right, we're in Little Rock, Arkansas, staying at the Downtown Riverside, which is I believe it's a city-owned campground right on the Arkansas River, and you are just a short walk from downtown Little Rock.
They took the old train trestle bridges and turned them into walking paths, and you can actually just walk across the river right into the middle of downtown, basically.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. If we pivot here, you can actually see the campground is right down there behind us. So,
Right behind us.
Yeah, probably just a short couple-minute walk, and you're on the bridge and heading over to Little Rock. So we're headed into town today to do a little exploring. I think we might jump on the trolley. You can get an all-day on-off ticket for $2 a person, and kind of just
get a little lay of the land with the trolley, and then tomorrow explore a little more on our own.
So it is a beautiful day. It's been a little awful, honestly, since we got here.
Yeah.
It rained nonstop the day we got here, and then the next day, yesterday, was just overcast and kind of drizzly and gross.
Didn't rain at all, but it was overcast and cold.
Yeah, just not the kind of day you really wanted to be outside walking around. So
today looks beautiful. No clouds, sun is out.
Yep.
It's supposed to get warm. So looking good.
Yeah, absolutely. We're gonna get it done today in Little Rock. We're starting the day off right. Headed to breakfast. You know, if we lived in this campground, I feel like we'd be super fit because you walk everywhere.
We walk to food. We'd be super fit.
Well, we've decided to come into town with the dogs, and we're doing a dog-friendly restaurant tour. It's a beautiful day out, so we're sitting on the patios having refreshing drinks and picking on appetizers and just enjoying the afternoon.
Just getting the dogs out of the house. They're kind of cooped up and need a break. So
yeah,
taking them out, getting them on a good walk, and
that's
trying to tucker them out.
Not a bad way to see the city either.
Absolutely not.
We like to eat and drink, and this gives us a good excuse to do it sitting on the patio in the perfect weather. So
yeah, beautiful day for sure.
Yeah. Well, today we are visiting Little Rock Central High School. which holds a pretty significant place in civil rights history in Arkansas. Back in 1957, the Brown versus the Board of Education Supreme Court ruling was in favor of desegregating the schools, and that was implemented here at Central High in Little Rock. To a lot of protests. There's a lot of racism in this area back in the 50s, and they were very against this school being desegregated. So in Arkansas history, the Little Rock Nine are the first 9 black students that tried to...
It started out as 200 students.
Right.
We're supposed to integrate this high school.
So what's interesting about that is that it was completely voluntary. These students had other places to go to school, that they had been going to school, and 200 students volunteered initially to integrate the school.
And the state of Arkansas made it so difficult that they whittled it down to where only 9 students were left in the end that actually were able to come to the school.
Yeah, it's crazy. They wouldn't allow them to ride the public school bus system. They had to take city buses to get to the school. They weren't allowed to do any extracurricular activities, so if they wanted to play sports or be parts of any clubs, they weren't allowed.
Even their attitudes and personalities were
played into
the requirements, of being able to go here.
It's just completely absurd. If they fought back, because there were a lot of protests, they were spit on daily, they were beat up. I mean, just awful stuff happened at this school, but they were just so strong, such brave people, that they persevered through that and helped integrate Arkansas's public schools. So really incredible, powerful, moving story, and I'm so glad that we had the opportunity to come visit this school. So this is an active school.
It's an active high school still.
Yeah, it's still a public high school today, but because of the place in history that it holds, the National Park Service has gotten involved and does tours, and we got really fortunate that we showed up at the visitor center right when a tour was starting, which just provided so much information. It was about an hour-long free tour. If you plan ahead, which we're terrible at doing, but now I wish we had known, so you guys do this in the future. If you're visiting this area and you plan ahead, you can actually get a tour inside the school. So just I found this incredibly interesting. I think now that we're in this part of the country, there's going to be a lot of civil rights history that we're going to run into, and I think it's really important and an interesting part of our history. It's
absolutely
hard for me to imagine that it wasn't all that long ago, really. I mean, honestly, this happened at the end of the 50s and in the 60s. That's not that long ago. It's hard to imagine. It's hard for my brain to wrap around that fact that this was a truth that these people lived not that long ago. Next up is the Clinton Presidential Library. These had never been on our radar before, but we met a couple here recently who make it a point to go to all of the presidential libraries. So we figured, we're in Little Rock. Bill Clinton was the governor of Arkansas, and his presidential library is located literally right across the bridge from where our campground is located. So we figured we would come check out what a presidential library is all about. Alright, that's a wrap on the Clinton Presidential Library. Pretty neat thing to see. It's essentially a museum of his early life and his time as president. Each presidential library has a replica of the Oval Office as it was during that president's term. So that's pretty neat to see. And then it just goes through all of the accomplishments and all of the events of the presidency. So, you know, it kind of depends on if you're into that kind of thing, if you're going to be interested in it. So, like I said, it was something we had no experience with, and so wanted to give it a chance and see what one was all about. It's a beautiful building. There's a lot of information there. So it was $10 a person to get in. So I don't know, I guess if you're into politics and into, I mean, it is our nation's history, right? So, you know, I would recommend it for that reason. But not the most thrilling thing we've ever done.